everybody. Jay Sanders. Alright, I thought I'd do a ramble for the first time this year. Got a little bit going on, so I thought I'd talk about it. Got notes. I hope everybody's doing pretty good. But yeah, I did a mix recently. So I thought I'd talk about that, do some updates, answer questions if there happen to be any, and then we'll see if we have anybody show up. Okay, so some stuff going on. Yeah, so Daydream Diaries is the newest mix that I did, which, just over a week ago or so. Yeah, it's a vaporwave mix, all kinds of people on it. A lot of ones that have been artists that I've featured and ones that I've recently found. So some of my favorite people in there. Costanza, a newer one from him, one of the main ones to start it off. I really try to get all kinds of stuff in there and really make everything blend. My Dreamy Adventure, of course, is in it. Channel Select. Yeah, a lot of my favorites. Definitely. Eyeliner has a new album, so I try to get him in there. That track is called BRB. It's one of my favorites, definitely. So I hope everybody liked that. If you haven't seen anything, go check it out. Yeah. You might as well do a more in-depth thing on it. Like, why not? Okay. So, like normal, I always try to kind of make everything match in a way with, the artwork. I'll kind of have a lot of things kind of ready in my mind as I gather things throughout the months or weeks. Yeah, really good song called Message from Curtis in it. If anybody likes Tupperwave, there's a really good newer track in there. A lot of newer stuff in there. I don't know, with all the mixes, I always try to get some classics in there too. Always do a balance of new and old. Fresh faces, old faces. Yeah, Allie has a new one. Yeah, everybody's got new stuff now. Which is, good. It's good to, have everybody, back, you know what I mean? Missed eyeliner. It's been a few years. Yeah. Thank you, Perez. Yeah. Hope everybody's nights are going pretty well. Yeah. So what else have I been doing besides that mix? I've had a couple last year, or a few last year. Keep Refrigerated was one of them. All kinds on there as well. A lot of kind of more classic hip hop vibes. There's there's plenty of more lively, sort of kind of beachier tracks for sure. And there's everybody. Try to get I always try to get just as much as I can packed it in an hour and make it flow pretty well. And of course, I'm always on the lookout. Like, at least like every week, I'll go and check on SoundCloud and see who people have been favoriting. You know, people that like are on my friends list, people that I'll follow. They'll often typically follow somebody, and then you'll find them out from there. Bandcamp has a feed, so it works similar. So yeah, it'd just be nice to find a little bit more often than it used to be. But yeah, no, I'm always on the lookout. I also have plenty of stuff planned this year, for sure. I got an electronic. Oh, it's raining now. I think it's raining. Yeah, I have a electronic mix that I'm gathering stuff for. Got a little bit, but yeah, I'm trying to at least fill in an hour, make it a really nice hour. Yeah. So, sorry, I got notes so that I don't miss anything. Okay, so some stuff is unblocked. Um, finally, if you know Brain Trainer 9000, I think it's 9000. It's a vaporwave mix, and that one for at least a good year or so was just randomly blocked for one of the tracks. I forget if it was one of them like Never Vision. That one's still blocked, but there's still a link video for it where you can get the whole thing. But yeah, that one was one of them that got blocked for something that sampled a Kenny G song. That's been happening a lot. usually when it gets blocked, it's Kenny G. Yeah, I think that shit's personal. Yeah. But no, that one's back. Or yeah, Brain Trainer is back. Bounce is back. One of the funkier mixes. So yeah, that one's unblocked. El Oso sound cartoons. For a while, that was somewhat lost media. Yeah, that I found a while back, at least 10 years ago. And yeah, that was from a band. That's from a band called Soul Coughing. I love those guys. Yeah, they're kind of came out, or for at least for kind of in the Cartoon Network side of things. They played on Boomerang music videos. Yeah, and those are all on YouTube, of course. But they did a VHS tape that was just a super rare thing that I guess was sold at like concerts or something. And then it eventually found its way on a torrent. And then yeah, I guess it disappeared after that. But yeah, that one's similar to the ones on Boomerangs, where it's all old cartoons set to a lot of their songs, and it fits surprisingly well in a really interesting way. A Boards of Canada compilation that I put together is back. It's unblocked. Yeah, that one. It's called a few old webtoons, and it's all loops and stuff from their old website, and more polished. So yeah, I'm gonna see those back. One of them, yeah, because one of them was, yeah, I mean it was a snippet of one of their older tracks that's on an album, but it was slightly different. But the ID system, I guess it still caught it, but now I guess a lot of things on Warp Records are okay, thankfully. Yeah, I don't know. Things just seem to change after a couple years. Things get blocked, things get unblocked. That's YouTube. That's copyright, but you get it. Yep. What else? I'm working on my own stuff, of course, my own kind of electronic songs. I'm gonna have some more vaporwavy stuff as well going on this year. But yeah, I do have two electronic things that I've been really kind of going back and forth on between. I mean, yeah. So yeah, they're both almost done. So I'll have those out pretty soon. Yeah, I always try to get, at least like 6. I'm trying to maybe work on maybe like 8 or 9 this year, maybe 10. Get an album going. Yeah, and that's all FL Studio using synths, drum beats, blah blah blah. Yeah, so plenty of that coming. Plenty of more mixes coming if you're just tuning in. Of course. Yeah, work is going pretty well. Yeah, sometimes the communication can be off. Some people can be blamed for things, um, depending just on who's there. But other than that, like stocking, it's pretty easy for the most part. You know, yeah, kind of a grocery job. Yeah, so there's that. With college, I got my associates, so I decided, with work, I'm trying to get an actual like a new apartment. So focusing on work is a good idea because you got to keep in mind with college when you do financial aid, you have to have like at least a good 4 or 5 classes, which can take up time depending on which kind they are. Yeah, so to work a little bit, focus a little bit on work. Yeah, yeah, putting college on hold for a bit, in terms of music production. But yeah, I'd say for the most part it went all right. Yeah, it was kind of tough to juggle a lot of that, but yeah, studio class was really interesting. You learned a lot in there, I think, especially about recording. The live recording class was really interesting too. Also pretty hands-on, where that one's dealing more with actually not just live recording, but also making sure the live band sounds, um, as well mixed as they can be. Guy behind the boards, guy setting up speakers, guys doing everything. That kind of class. And then of course there's a class for Pro Tools, very very manual kind of a um, workstation, but the way that it works with recording was really good, to learn for sure. Yeah. So man, what? At least 3 years now worth of going over there. So yeah, and then after a while, I was able to schedule it to where I only had to go do some classes on one day, just get them all done and then get the homework done by the end of the week. Yeah, I'd say for the most part, things worked out. Got pretty good grades. All right, so what else? I guess I'll talk about, yeah, if anybody happened to miss it last year, yeah, one of the other mixes that I did was actually a visual mix. Yeah, for an older one called Late Shifters. Yeah, so that's the kind where I did kind of a visual for each song. I found a bunch of different kinds of old footage from the 80s, some from the early 90s, but yeah, mostly 80s. Yeah, so yeah, definitely check that out if you haven't. Um, one of my favorites on there is one I did for a song called Lone Rider by My Dreamy Adventure. And that one's all from, what did you call it, tokusatsu type of shows, like Power Rangers. That basically came from Super Sentai in Japan. Yeah, same kind of universe. So yeah, Japanese action shows from the 90s, basically. Kind of thing. Yeah, been around forever, and so much good stuff that matched up with that song. I used it in the first track, some of it in the first track too, from um, Channel Select, I believe. Yeah, and That one was more actiony, kind of Godzilla fight. That one is another kind of show like that. Same universe too, I believe. Ultraman. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff in those. But yeah, the one for Lone Rider, it's a little bit more intimate, um, or somewhat serious. It's all basically just footage of people driving alone from those shows, and yeah, felt that it fit really well the tone from a lot of the footage. And of course, there's a lot of perfect stuff that you would even see in like a cover for a vaporwave album or something. Yeah, people just kind of driving alone by the beach, or in yeah, really kind of sunset type of settings. Yeah, and then of course, yeah, I just got as much as I could find. Then of course, another one from My Dreamy, 8 o'clock, I believe, is that one is all HBO footage. HBO, even though in the 80s and still today, I believe it's commercial free. It's all, because you buy it. So it better be commercial free. But when it is, it's all just promos for stuff that's on the show or that's on the channel, really. So a lot of it was like super kind of quick snippets, trailers of a bunch of different movies. Just a very nostalgia onslaught, basically. It fit really well with it. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, hope you all like that one. Got some Knight Rider footage for one of the tracks from Alley, I believe. Yep, Alley. A lot of more high octane ones from her for sure. Thank you, Ekum. That's really nice. Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah. Okay. Oh, last video I talked about. Somebody asked about what I thought of those new Star Wars movies. 7, 8, and 9, and for whatever reason, when I was talking about that, the third one of the trilogy, I completely forgot about who the villain was. It was Sidious again, because of course, I guess they couldn't think of I don't know, somebody, I don't know, just like a new character or something. Is bringing back somebody that we already all saw die, but whatever. It was a movie. It had some good stuff in it, but otherwise, like story wise, it was kind of like a cluster. A cluster. A fan. A fan story. It's pretty though. Look nice. But no, yeah, acting wise, it was pretty good too. Sorry, looking at my notes. What else? Games. What have I been playing? Mostly, yeah. When I'm able to, I mostly have been playing stuff, just really casual stuff for the most part. There's a new Tomb Raider trilogy remaster that came out. It's pretty good. You just think like a $30 thing. Yeah, but the remasters of really good remasters of the original trilogy. If you like ones like that Diablo 2 remaster where it's lets you toggle between original and the new look, it lets you do that. They have updated the controls. Yeah, it's just not bad at all. Really good to be able to play that on a modern computer too. So I go back to SSX a lot here and there when when I can. Yeah. Those are, yeah, some just really good snowboarding games. It would really be nice to see some remasters of those, or at least, yeah, especially like that kind of, yeah, the main trilogy, I would say. So 2, 3, and 4. Yeah. The first one is a little bit more, yeah, PS2 was a little bit more primitive than the other ones. The rest were mainly on PS2 as well, but yeah, they were. Yeah, but it was when they got way better graphics updates. I liked playing Zoe a lot. um, yeah, Moby. Yeah, all good characters. On tour, of course, you can only like create your own character, but graphics wise, I think that might be one of the better ones. Yeah, there's some for some reason some of the best games out there have come from like the PS2 2005 era, like kind of when they were already talking about PS3. So those last couple of years of PS2 got really ahead of its time, I would say. Especially like for a good example, actually, I think this got a remaster on the Switch recently too. But yeah, Star Wars Battlefront 2, or the original one from 2005. It's on the original Xbox too. It's on Steam. It's all that stuff. But yeah, just a really good one that set the bar. Great, believable graphics for its time. Definitely. Tomb Raider Anniversary was great. Yeah, so the remaster, that new remaster, it is just a really good, really well made kind of modern reskin that's exactly like the original for PS1. But an Anniversary on PS2, it's more of kind of an expansion, um, in the best way. Yeah, I've always loved kind of the temple kind of settings in the jungle. Um, yeah, that was definitely one of my favorite ones for sure. Yeah. And then what else have I been playing? Mario Maker. Mario Maker 2. Right here. Not a bad one at all. My only minor gripe is it would be nice to get some the Super Nintendo skins. Yeah, All Star. Yeah, there's one called All Stars, which is just I guess Super Nintendo kind of remasters of the NES ones. Super Mario 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so the first three basically. The way they looked on Super Nintendo it was really unique. It had its own style. Oh, we can't forget 32-bit. Definitely. Yeah. And I'll play some of the that Super Nintendo stuff for sure on there too. $3 a month. That's it. So yes, you get to play. Yeah, there's plenty on there. Only one that I love that I don't think they don't have this Super Castlevania 4. I guess there's some kind of like copyright war on that with Konami. I don't know, but and Ghosts and Goblins is on there, which is Konami. Strange, but yeah. Donkey Kong Country Trilogy is on there, of course. And then sometimes I'll be playing Tropical Freeze here and there. Really good side scroller, one of the best rated out there too. But yeah, really good for the Switch. Yeah. But yeah, what I do love, of course, about Mario Maker 2 is, of course, it does have the one for a Super Nintendo game, which is probably one of my main favorites, Super Mario World. Yeah, always, yeah, one of the most expansive games out there for the Super Nintendo. In terms of all like the secrets and like hidden levels, all that crazy stuff you can do. So yeah, that's all in there. Yep, you can make stuff, play other people's stuff online. Um, yeah, I like the new features they've added. You can make rooms, add indoors, add goals to set, like collect all the coins or beat all the baddies, all that kind of thing. Yeah, probably one of my main favorite kind of creative kind of sandbox kind of games, Mario Maker 2. Yeah, yeah, it's a really good one. So yeah, I'll do all kinds. Sometimes I'll do like levels where it's all just kind of trying to avoid or jump on. Get to the end while jumping on the Hammer Brothers, just kind of ones where they're everywhere, or more levels where it's all like jumping around, kind of more agility. Of course, I'd say the Super Mario World is one of my more favorite kind of ones to mess with. Yeah, big one for me when I was growing up as a kid, and especially Yoshi's Island as well. Always a big one. Yeah, thinking about doing a new kind of Super Nintendo mix, kind of at some point. Yeah, I did one a couple years ago called SNES Transmission. That one, it was all kind of set to like fuzz in the background to create this kind of like interesting kind of nostalgic feeling, and yeah, kind of added some reverby effects on, like kind of just made this big 3 hour just kind of, yeah, just kind of big setup of songs from some of my favorite Super Nintendo games out there. Yeah, that I definitely remember the most, and ones that either I completely forgot about or had just discovered. Because yeah, when I'm making a mix, I always say what I already know and what I've never heard of before. Things that are new to me. Definitely. Yeah, all that's in there. The Mega Man music is some of my favorite on there for sure. Yeah. What else? Gee. I mean, that's mainly it. So I've talked about the visuals. I've talked about music. In terms of music, I'm always on. I've been on shuffle mainly, so listen to all kinds of stuff. Yeah, mixes too. I'm always listening to other people's mixes as well. Yeah, yeah. Flying Lotus has plenty. um, yeah, old and new. I like all kinds of like electronic, hip hop beats, vaporwave, of course, synth, and then sometimes I'll get into rock, like classic rock. Yeah, Pink Floyd is something that somebody that I definitely always grew up with, for sure. For example, hey, why not like just look through some of CDs that I've collected over the years. But first, of course, here's my bong. Yeah. Yeah. So here we have. Well, this isn't music, but this is an older game. Got this. Hawaii. Went on vacation a long time ago. It's like graduation gift. Was it like 2013, I think? Um, kind of near Waikiki Beach. Really pretty area. But yeah, that Diablo game, it plays on like anything. Still, surprisingly. And of course, we got all kinds of stuff from Flying Lotus. Here's a Cosmogramma. Inside artwork is really cool too. Um, But yeah, there's something for everybody on all of them. The CD, something special about the CD is that well, it's not on the website anymore, but you can still at least like buy or just download it now at this point. But it used to be when you could just scan it into the webcam on that website, flyinglotus.com. And then it would immediately give you a download to like a 9-track like kind of collection of like little remixes and stuff that didn't make it on the album. Catacombs, of course, too. Alternate version of Drips. Yeah, just some really good stuff on there. Yeah, that really complements it for sure. Yeah, Catacombs. Yeah, it's extended version of it. That was really pretty, especially for like rainy nights for sure. Um, of course, and he's another person to come out of Cartoon Network. I noticed. Here's one of his new, or one. It's not newer. One of my favorite EPs from him. This is very wacky, cartoony as the channel that he's featured on a lot. Adult Swim. It's a huge, the main place where he kind of got his start when he was on there a lot. Or he still is. His stuff gets played, in bumps and things like that. And then really good CD design. Time Vampires is really it's a very dizzy hip hop kind of a beat, kind of a track. It's always been one of my favorites. Clay, very beautiful, really pretty one. It was also at the end of his Decade of Flying Lotus mix. One of my favorite ones, mixes from him that I definitely recommend. That's one where it's all his stuff. Yeah, a lot of stuff that there's still stuff that hasn't been featured on anything yet. Stuff that's only on there still. He's one of those people, probably like Aphex Twin, where they're always making something, but a lot of it you hear, a lot of it you don't hear for years. Yeah, and then stuff they'll slip in mixes as like a treat. But yeah, I always love artwork like this where there's like a million things going on. You always like kind of notice something different every time you look at it. Yeah. Cosmogram, one of my favorites on there is Do the Astral Plane. It's a good one. Oh, here's yeah. So okay, so we got that. Here is some more Fly Low. It might be my favorite album of him as a whole, although Cosmogram has some of my favorite tracks, but this as a whole, Persian Goldfish is a really good dance track. One of my favorite party tracks, not just by him, but like in general. It's played also on Cartoon Network too, on some of the bumps. But yeah, I always like the sculpture. I'm trying to get it open, but no. Yeah, that's like a 17-track thing. Beginner's Falafel is a very really pretty kind of hip hop track. Yeah, if you like stuff that incorporates a lot of very layered, incorporates a lot of like video game esque sound effects, yeah, definitely go with that album. Roberta Flack, really beautiful one. That one features Dolly, I believe. Yeah, yeah, singer with a very beautiful voice too, for sure. So that one's a big highlight. And then there's what else we got? We got his first album, 1983. Yeah, the first track on there it's called 1983 as well, and one of the first ones I heard from him long time ago, and yeah, definitely the gateway drug to it for sure. Can't really help but bob your head to it. The way it starts out is very Metroid-like for sure. It's kind of spooky, kind of atmospheric thing that kind of just bleeds into a beat. in the middle of it. Yeah, just very funky. And then of course, Bad Actors is just a really feel good kind of a loop. Um, yeah, I love all of it really. Hello, of course. Um, just all the most interesting like little like bits and sounds of like say like a video game or arcade or of course Super Nintendo. It's even in his interviews he constantly alludes to Nintendo, things like that. Um, yeah, makes a place for all of it for sure. And again, there's something for everyone in it. And of course, this is home to one of his most famous tracks, called "Massage Situation," played in one of his main kind of bumps that plays a lot on Adult Swim. So, yeah, definitely a big one. And of course, they're all great. Um, Vegas Collie, Tea Leaf Dancers, of course, really pretty. Spicy Sandwich is, another big one for sure. Kind of song that goes everywhere, really. Then, okay, for some more warp, here is Borders of Canada. Um, a lot of their stuff, quite a lot of it can also be in a hip hop direction for sure. On here, especially like Julie and Candy, they take kind of a hip hop beat to just a very bizarre, very well, just kind of like the artwork of the album, very kaleidoscopic. They do everything with it. Also, has some very dizzy effects. One of those albums where everything kind of blends into the next. 1969 is the beat on that one was great. Opening the mouth, that was a very creepy one, but like in the best way. Alpha and Omega is probably one of my favorites from them, like in general. I think the longest song on the album, and it's very hypnotic for sure. It bleeds into your brain. Yeah, definitely. Sunshine Recorder. Yeah, definitely a big one for me. Magic Windows, the best one. And then there's Music Has the Right to Children. And here's how do I get it? Okay. This is so it kind of folds out. I'm sorry. And I'm trying to get I'd like to get Campfire Head Face soon. I don't have that yet, or at least aren't on physical. But yeah, here's some of the artwork on here. No faces. Let's see. Of course, it's all very like turquoise themed. Of course, they have a great song. One of my favorites called "Turquoise Hexagon Sun." Definitely a huge kind of, for me, a game changer in electronic, really. Just the art of experimentation. But no, it's just very pretty, for sure. I know I use that word a lot, but I'd say that's the main style of electronic that I like. Kind of makes you think. Stuff that's that's somewhat danceable, but introverted in a way, for sure. Telephasic Workshop. That one, beat on that one, yeah, it's also very kind of hypnotic, very kind of pounding, seeps into your head. The way that the really pretty melodies kind of layer on top of one another as it goes on. Yeah. Happy Cycling. Yeah, definitely. Aquarius, yeah, a big one for me for sure. Definitely one of their funkier ones. Then, oh, geez. I got Soul Coughing. Yeah, I do have Soul Coughing down here. I don't know why I didn't have it on. Like, well, here's another Boards of Canada one. Yeah, Tomorrow's Harvest. It's probably like their darkest one for sure. Gio Gotti has definitely like some eerie ones, but I'd say it still has a lot of playful ones for sure that balance it out. But this one is probably one of their main introverted ones for sure. But Reach for the Dead is very it's a very kind of emotional kind of instrumental that really just goes everywhere. Very cinematic for sure. The whole thing would definitely complement a movie, but and the music video for it definitely works. Yeah. Now, Collapse and Palace Posey. Split Your Infinity is, just very kind of ethereal kind of tracks. Eerie, very beautiful at the same time. But no, here's some Soul Coughing. This is their first album. Casio Tone Nation is a really good one of them there, and of course. Screenwriter's Blues. Yeah, they're very jazzy, kind of a wacky kind of a band from the 90s. No. Yeah, they're the ones I was talking about on Boomerang. But no, interestingly enough, I found out recently the Cartoon Network. Yeah, this one has one of my favorites, Super Bon Bon, and Soundtrack to Mary is really good. They also have a song called Collapse, very different, of course, but yeah, that one's more crazier kind of a beat. I love the drummer on there; he just goes crazy. But yeah. Cartoon Network has a new block called Checkered Past, which is all just the older 90s stuff, really. I forget if Johnny Bravo is one of them, but yeah. Dexter's Lab, Cow and Chicken, I Am Weasel, Courage the Cowardly Dog. And the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. So basically, they're bringing the 90s stuff back on there. I don't think it's something that should have left, in terms of reruns. I mean, like, why not? It's not something that I was aware that anybody, like, stopped watching. So, I'd say go for it. And, of course, MeTV, I found out recently, is, they've been talking about how they're coming out with their own sort of Boomerang. Boomerang's still around. They're still doing the Looney Tunes, Tom and Jerry and stuff, but half of it in the afternoon is like really like remakes of Scooby-Doo and stuff like that. But yeah, MeTV is like, it's going to be all back to old MGM, Looney Tunes, all that good stuff. The Jetsons. They do play that stuff on like Saturday mornings. They're trying to like to recreate the whole like Saturday morning kind of feel. So this one's really good. This one features the stuff that's was on Cartoon Network, like Circles and Rolling. Yeah, those are some of my favorites. 300 is one of my favorite songs from them for sure. The beat on that is great. But no. Then we have all your Gorillaz stuff. Here is a single for Dirty Harry. All this stuff's coming in dark, but no. Yeah, it's like the mythicite of the music video. This is the one where you put the CD and the computer and it just plays the music video. It's got a Hong Kongaton on it and a Chopper remix of Dirty Harry. All Alone, a live version. It's almost as good as the album version in a way. It's very unique, but this one has some good stuff on it as well. has a lot of good artwork in it too. Of course, if you look at 2D, he's got like a Mojo Jojo shirt. But yeah, G sides. Yeah, Gorillas. Yeah, just the main kind of people that really got me into just experimentation, doing whatever you want, really, and just kind of yeah, really dissecting hip hop. And then, of course, yeah, this era of Gorillaz is also very dub, kind of reggae influence, and a lot of it punk as well. They even have a song called Punk. Um, yeah, there's a song on here called. Okay, so there's the English version of Latin Simone. Um, okay, Faust. Now that one, yeah. So for a minute, I'll talk about the unmastered one. You might be able to find it for downloading it around here, or if you can find it, ask me. But yeah, um, yeah, something that leaked, and the unmastered of the first album, Faust was actually on it. So I guess it was originally like meant to be on the album, but yeah, that one has like a Japanese kind of vocals on it from Noodle. Um, yeah, that was a really pretty kind of like wake up kind of song for me. Wake up in the morning. Yeah, it's just kind of relaxing, kind of a beat. And then yeah, so and then on here, yeah, this is the American version, and that one is too the American version. So um, the only difference is it has three extra tracks, so those are taken off that one. But yeah, Dracula is actually one of my favorite songs from Gorillaz. But that one actually wasn't on the Unmastered, so that came a little later. And then one of the main B sides that they played live. Left Hand Suzuki Method is one of my favorite instrumentals. Also has kind of some noodle vocals too, where she's kind of talking in the background. But starts off with like a bong rip. Yeah, so that one was on the Unmastered. So the Unmastered, it's the same thing as this, all the same tracks, but yeah, it's for the most part, I would say it's mastered. It's just a little quieter, you know what I mean? On here, I think things are more crunchy, more fleshed out sounding. But a couple of the tracks, like Clint Eastwood, like the ending is slightly longer. The beat goes on for a little bit more. It ends with just the drums, for example. But yeah, it's just interesting to know some of the stuff that didn't. Yeah, the Faust didn't make it. Yeah, I'd say these, they all kind of fit in. Now, Demon Days, I would definitely say that that's kind of an album that I would say definitely flows together kind of as one. But with this is a really kind of good collection in a way to where you can rearrange these any way you want for the most part in order, in ordering. But Rehash, of course, is a good one to start with. That song. Double Bass is a really kind of funky instrumental I've always liked. Yeah. Starshine and Slow Country. Yeah, very pretty, kind of eerie hip hop kind of a beat. Yeah. Anything extra? No. Okay. Demon Days, good one. Yeah, one of the best ones, if not the best one. Yeah. Feel Good Inc. I think that might have been the first one I heard from them. Then there's and D sides, a lot of really good ones. I feel like if they were to just like release this, if they release it as an album, no one would bat an eye. It does, similar to the first album, has a very kind of interesting kind of collection, all different types of stuff, kind of a vibe to it. Yeah, the cover it's Pazuzu. I don't know if you can really see it, yeah, that kind of statue comes with like a little artwork, sketches. So, but no, I think some good ones. Hong Kong is one of the more very oriental, pretty kind of tracks. We Are a Happy Landful. It gets really punky. I feel like D sides is kind of an interesting kind of. I think like a lot of it are meant to be like an end ground or a middle ground between the two albums. You know, Demon Days in the first, but Bill Murray, it's mostly instrumental, and I always like the trumpets in it. Very cinematic, of course. Um, yeah, the remix CD, it's for the most part it's okay. They're mostly vocal remixes, but the very special one is definitely the Stung Chinese New Year remix of Dirty Harry. It's almost more like a cover, but it's just a really well made Oriental version of it, and so all the lyrics and even the rapping is in all Japanese. And if you've seen the Jaden Smith version of the Karate Kid, that song actually plays in it at a point, and like a montage. But yeah, and then of course, yeah, I don't know where the case went, but yeah, this is the deluxe version of the singles collection. So the deluxe is just it has a CD, a second CD where it's a DVD that has all the music videos in it from from the first three albums. So including the Plastic Beach stuff. Um, yeah, all kinds of really good stuff in it. So yeah, Bruce Willis is in it. Yeah, he's in the Stylo music video. Really interesting. Um, but yeah, my parents like it. You're gonna play with it. Play it to your friends. I should say, and you know, for somebody who hasn't, if nobody's heard of Gorillaz before, the singles collection is basically a greatest hits. It's a really good one to start with, I would say. Has some of their best stuff for sure. Like you know, Tomorrow Comes Today, Rock the House. Yeah, Dare was always a really good dance track. Stylo, of course, and Don Chematic. Yeah, I'm just really surprised that Empire Ants never was turned into or a single. Because as far as I know, that one's almost as popular as the other ones, especially on YouTube. You know, even in Spotify and stuff. Even though it doesn't have a music video for it, you know. But yeah, really good one. Here's some Lucid. Okay, he's on the Ninja Tune side of things. They're yeah, he's on. Yeah, Ninja Tune. If you've heard of Bonobo, people like that, actress. Also, people that have been featured on Adult Swim. You know, Lucid. He's been on. For Unclassified from Adult Swim. It's a compilation. He's been on there. It's a very bassy one, but yeah, and one of my favorite ones, "Bless My Heart," is it's basically vaporwave. Forget what it samples, but I might I'll try to like link it later. But yeah, it's a very funky one. La Roche is a really good. It's almost chill wavy in a way, and it's a very pretty kind of hip hop kind of a track. What he does with vocal samples, yeah, is really nice, soothing in a way. Um, Tomorrow is eerie but really good, kind of an ambient track. Lonely at the Top, it's very twisted kind of synths that work with the beat in a way. They're very heavy, but also very pretty. Yeah. Here's FOMO. Yeah, this guy's from London, I believe, UK. Yeah, Saddlebags very bassy. Slow hand slap is very pretty, for sure. It's one of my favorites on there. Another one, with really nice kind of female vocal samples that mix well with it. And Ski Fly is another really heavy kind of a beat. Yeah, it's what yeah, he often mixes in samples, and yeah, just a really good way. Um, a Veto is great. Fall Apart. The way he mixes in all different styles of percussion. Yeah, that definitely influenced me in a way for sure. Um, yeah. Then we have some Toro y Moi. This is his first album called Causers of This. Yeah. Oh man. Then I got some old stuff, like these old games I had forever since I was a kid. Yeah, these are edutainment games called Clue Finders. If you've heard of Oregon Trail, that was like a learning company kind of thing, or at least later on. But yeah, a search and solve is kind of a logic kind of game. But the crew in the game, it's basically like a Scooby Doo type of, like Owen, he's basically Shaggy. But yeah. Mystery of the Missing Amulet. It's one of the more eerie ones. Surprisingly, there's like even like a Resident Evil track just in there. So maybe I don't know if that was like stock or the song originally and it made it in there or what, but yeah, it was in that jukebox. It is basically a crossword puzzle kind of a level, and that was in the background. You know the song. I believe in the second one, playing in the shop. What are you buying? What are you selling? But no, yeah, that one takes place in kind of a mountain area, very kind of fantasy based, but that one's all reading. And then fifth grade volcano. Yeah, it is. Yeah, definitely big kind of nostalgic things for me, for sure. But yeah. Sixth grade underground. This one comes with Kid Picks 3. I've actually thought about like making like a cover where I just use that or make something with it, but yeah. Zoombinis is one of my main favorites. Remake for it on Steam too, but yeah. Also a remake of Oregon Trail, or the original one. But yeah. Oh yeah, and then one of the Clue Finders games, one of that like kind of arcade themed one. Yeah, that one is all where did it go? I had it. It's the toy store. It comes with the toy store. Yeah. Yeah, Mystery Mansion. The villain. Sorry if you want spoilers or pause it or whatever. But yeah, the villain that comes out of the shadows in the end is oh shit, it's Carmen Sandiego. But yeah, Carmen Sandiego is one of my main favorite edutainment kind of things that I grew up with too. But and the reading and math detective ones are really unique as well. A lot of really interesting music that I found out of it too. When I was a kid. Thank you, Chris. It's really nice. Yeah, that's all stuff. Oh, there's the Tomb Raider. This one's for the 360, but yeah, that's the kind of like older reboot. Legend, Underworld. Yeah. Underworld also very atmospheric. You can even that's the one where you can kind of go on and off on your motorcycle. Kind of do all kinds of stuff, but yeah, it was like those. Yep, that's just stuff I have. Stuff to talk about, I guess. But yeah, that's mostly my thing. So yeah, but no, if you have any questions, shoot, I guess. And yeah, other than that, I think that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, the checker pass, that Cartoon Network thing, the Cartoon Network thing. Interestingly enough, I think it's still like it's marketed as like an Adult Swim, so it's like right before King of the Hill or whatever comes on. Interesting, but yeah, good to see Courage and all that stuff back. But yeah, Samurai Jack was always a big one for me too. Always had a lot of favorites. Most of them are my favorites, honestly, but yeah. The Scotsman episodes were always great. The first 3 episodes, of course, everything happens really. But Jack Sandals, that was just a really good kind of just cartoony, kind of fun one in general. And then just straight up, Jack versus Aku. I think that's the one where they're in the cemetery. But yeah, one can just a great kind of one-on-one battle episode. Yeah, kind of show where even though Aku is not in every episode, when he does show up, it's always like something cool. Yeah, one of my favorite voice actors for him for sure. Mako, rest in peace. Yeah, Jack in the Four Seasons is another good one. Mostly not too much dialogue, but yeah, I always like stuff like that. You can tell a story without talking too much, and even not for whatever reason you don't hear about it as much, but a show called now there's Star Wars. I forget which one. There's Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and then there's Star Wars: Clone Wars. I don't know why they made that choice to like use the same name, but before the CGI one, the same guy that made Samurai Jack made a Star Wars Clone Wars show. It was meant to be a mini series, so it was I think like 10 episodes long, or maybe 15 or something like that. But yeah, that one was one. Yeah, very little dialogue. But yeah, Mace Windu, Anakin, Grievous, um, plenty of newer characters for it. Yeah, the style on that, it definitely resembles Samurai Jack in a lot of ways because it's the same guy. But he's yeah, definitely a good cartoonist. And as far as I know, is that version of it on Disney Plus? Probably the clunky version, but yeah, I would imagine. And then of course the new one, the CG one, isn't bad either. The Bad Batch, yeah, not bad at all. Yeah, yeah. Grew up on cartoons. What can I say? Yeah. Yeah, honestly, like if I'm just relaxing, one of my favorite ones is just like even if I'm just doing something, I want something to listen to. King of the Hill has always been like a really good kind of go to, especially with so many episodes. Yeah, yeah. Mike Judge has just always had a good sense of humor for sure. Yeah, yeah. So, oh, you guys got to keep me updated on this show. I forget if it's a working title or if it has a name now, but Marvel. So it's supposed to be like a Disney Plus thing, original. Um, so like an anthology kind of thing, like Twilight Zone or Tales of the Crypt, but it's all Marvel, where each episode is about a different like obscure superhero that you don't hear about very much. It used to be in comic books or whatever. or just a different episode, a different character in general. That could be really fun. I'll see if that's even like already out, maybe. But yeah, if, in case I'm out of the loop. But yeah, that could be interesting. But yeah. So I guess before I go, so that's mainly it. I guess I could talk about, now that I'm on the subject, Twilight Zone. And I talk about like it half the time when I do these, but there's so many episodes. It's always like fun to delve into because I know that's a big show for a lot of people. But yeah, I'm talking about the one from the '60s. Yeah, started in '59 and then kind of went on for a while for 5 seasons. And then the last, 2 or 3 seasons were actually had some of their best stuff in it. Like Nightmare at 50,000 feet, where William Shatner sees something on the wing. That one was always a classic one. It kind of brings out that fear of flying, and puts it into an episode in just the best way. Yeah, the show has always had some of my favorite twists, and yeah, to one of my main kind of heroes, I would say, Rod Serling, the creator and the host of the show. Yeah, writer and director of most of them. Yeah, a lot of huge hits. The Invaders is he said that's his personal favorite. It's definitely one of my favorites. One of their biggest ones. Yeah, a simple alien attack kind of an episode with it was a really good twist when you find out who it is. But yeah, it's yeah, a good one. Monsters Are Due on Maple Street, where monsters are basically just people in a neighborhood going out of their mind because all the lights flickering. They don't know, who the culprit is. But basically, at the end, is basically all of them, for the most part. Yeah, the aliens were the ones flickering the lights. They wanted to see, fucking with them. Basically, wanted to see how the humans, unlike some of the other planets, how they would handle things. They would work together as a team to figure out what's going on, or if they would let their own suspicions about everybody and everyone and everything eat them up or tear them up. Yeah, so yeah, that one's good. And then I want to talk about one that I watched recently again that I kind of forgot about. It's called I think it's called A World of His Own. It's about a guy who makes I think it'll let me flip it. Maybe not. Yeah, it's about a guy. This episode of The Twilight Zone is about a guy who, he's got a tape recorder. He's an author. He's kind of a distinguished author who makes all kinds of books. And, he's with this lady. He gets caught, and then, he finally has to admit that, I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't want to lose my marriage, with the woman who he was originally with, or who, he's married to. This lady. And so the recorder that he has, he basically, he's trying to tell her that person, she's not actually real. He's just a character of his. He describes his character into the recorder. He takes this tape, puts it into an envelope, and then that person becomes real to the point where, even everybody else can see him. And, and then he even shows her like an elephant. I'll just describe a character. He's an elephant, and then it pops up into the room. It'll show it at some point, but Uh, it's like, oh, here's an elephant. And trivia about that, they really actually got an elephant in the room for that. But yeah, this was always just a good episode. Great acting from like all of them. Yeah, especially this guy. But yeah, the twist. This is one that I sort of called at the beginning. I'm like, I bet that his real wife isn't actually. She's also a character too. I bet I was right, like she is. But the way that it was done was really like well played off or well done. I mean, um, it's like where she says that she's a character and like yeah whatever, so she throws it, but she accidentally throws it in the fire, and then she ends up just disappearing, and then he's like, oh damn it, so he tries to describe her again and then bring her back, but then he just kind of changes his mind, and then he's like, you know what, maybe I should just make it like a better like a wife that won't like bicker at me all the time or whatever. Yeah, it's just a kind of silly, kind of like light-hearted episode, but it has a very interesting ending to me, in terms of your Rod Serling, the host. But, I'll show like a piece of it.
It was, of course. We hope you enjoyed tonight's romantic story on the Twilight Zone. At the same time, we want you to realize that it was, of course, purely fictional.
I have to pause it a couple times for the ID system.
In real life, such ridiculous nonsense could never run.
This is like the first time they've done like the fourth wall kind of thing with him in this way. Usually nobody like knows that he's there. Is this like lore now? He's like the creator of Rod.
I mean, you shouldn't say such things as nonsense and ridiculous.
Well, that's the way it goes. Leaving Mr. Gregory West, still shy, quiet, very happy, and apparently in complete control of the Twilight Zone.
Yeah. Just always a fun one for me, for sure. Yeah. This is kind of about just a guy living in his own world. Simply put, and just what you can do with that kind of a story. No, they just did a good job on it. But no, one of my favorite twists of the Twilight Zone. I think that was probably the only one that I really like caught. But no, or this one at least. But no, one that I didn't catch and that definitely like caught me off guard was one from an episode called, what is it called? You'll figure it. Just Google it. Just Google Twilight Zone episode. Guy can't talk. But no, it's a guy. An episode about a guy who never shuts up. All he ever does is talk, just on and on, all the time. And so the owner of the club that he's always at playing pool and stuff, he's this old crotchety old man. And he's like, if you will shut up for one entire year, I will give you, it's like a huge crazy sum of money. Especially for back then, I think it was like $200,000 or something like that. We'll just say $1 million. Why not? I'll give you $1 million if you shut up for a year, and we'll have you. And he makes this case, and a livable one, and he gets food and everything. He's got his little personal library, everything he wants, a phone. I believe that's part of it, where he has a phone. That's where he tries to basically like try to get him to talk. Try to get people to call him and get him to finally talk. But no, and if you want spoilers, what happens is it's a great kind of a double twist. Yeah, Rod Serling, he said he always liked it too. How one of his kind of favorites, but yeah, basically. in the end, the grouchy old man is like, sorry, I don't actually have, $200,000 or whatever. I don't actually have that kind of money. Or I thought that I almost did at the time, but that was like over a year ago. Sorry, can't help you. And and I think he also just kind of loses in a way because of the fact that he has that he spent a lot getting that whole like thing set up in the first place. But yeah, but then the other twist is that the guy goes, oh no. Well, he doesn't say oh no because he can't. So he writes on a piece of paper. The piece of paper it says that he had his voice box pulled out because he knew full well that he was not going to be able to talk. He was going to lose like on day one. He was going to talk. He knew it. So he got his his voice box cut out. That was only like one of maybe like 3 episodes of Twilight Zone that doesn't where it's not really like a supernatural themed or like fantasy or whatever. It's more just kind of like just an interesting just kind of story in general. The way that it's done is really good. But yeah, so basically no one freaking wins at the end of that one. Yeah. Yeah, and of course I should have seen it coming in the first place because of the fact that once he started that competition, he was wearing a scarf the whole time. So when he finally takes off the scarf at the end, he's got like this scar, where they took his voice box out. Yeah, good one. But yeah, another one of my favorites with another good twist is the obsolete man, about a kind of like a dystopian future where the dictator sentencing this guy to death because he's a librarian. Books are no good in here anymore. That kind of thing. You are rendered obsolete. Sentenced to death. So yeah, where that story goes, that one I don't want to spoil. I'll just say watch it. But yeah, that's another really good, really famous one for sure. But yeah. So now about done with that. Hope you guys have a good one. Let's see if anybody's said anything new. But no, of course, like thank you to the guys who showed up. Like Chris, Ecom, Perez. All right. Yeah, just keep an eye out for new stuff for sure. And I'll see you guys later. Have a good one. But yeah, thanks for watching the channel.